Just another rainy, snowy day here. Look at that. Isn't that nice? In Ohio, I watched the Cleveland Browns game last night. Now, our house is maybe 20 minutes from where the Browns play. And I didn't see any of that snow last night. It was, if you watch the football game, it was a great football game. I actually was really tired and I turned it off when James Winston threw the interception with, 4 minutes left? I turned the game off, only to wake up to find out that the Browns won. Now, I didn't really have a dog in the fight, as they say. I'm not a fan of either team, but it was a good game. So a little snowy and a little rainy again today. It's supposed to rain pretty hard over at the Meadows today, and that right around 4 or 5 Celsius degree mark. So somewhere around 39, 38, 40. Just really cold day when the rain's pounding down on you at that. So I'm not looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the horses we're racing today. Just not looking forward to racing them today. So yesterday, I left you guys off at Tenacious Hanover. Now, we didn't have a fantastic night. Top marks of the night were at the latter part of the program of the night for us was Admiral Deal finishing third. He raced okay, I thought. I couldn't place him because I thought Travis Cullen was driving him. Then I find out that Phil was driving him. I thought I had to go back and watch the replay. I thought he raced all right. When you get up on it, I found now, at least at my age, I don't respond very well to the rain and the snow. I rather like the sun, and I find myself kind of dragging my feet through the morning, right? And stopped at Starbucks. Now, most people, I don't know where you live, or if you even go to Starbucks, but most people use the mobile app now, right? So I do too. I wanted to get Amy another drink. She'd get up early. She'd get up early and drop the kids off. So I wanted to get her a drink also. So I thought I'd order it as late as I could before I get off the highway. It's about 4 minutes from the off-ramp to Starbucks in Macedonia. And I hit enter, and if you look at the top, it'll tell you your estimated wait time. 25 minutes. They get a lot of foot traffic there sometimes. So obviously that was even more frustrating for me. But then I went in and sat down and finished off all my emails at a table. And of course, Starbucks being Starbucks had the Christmas music blaring. So I left less frustrated than when I got there. I got all my emails done for the morning anyway. As I head to Northfield Park, I got a drink. Got a little thing to it. Now the girl told me you get rebates for buying these things too. Now, not nearly enough to make it worth the $30 it was for the metal thermos, but keeps it warm a long time. That's important. For those of you out there, if you buy the Starbucks drinks and you're like me and you like them hot, right? I don't like if I order a hot drink, I want it hot. I don't want it lukewarm, and I find it very frustrating to drink when it's lukewarm. So this actually comes in very handy. I don't know how long it'll take me to lose it or forget it at home, but for today, I have it. Now, as I said yesterday, a decent day to start the day. We'll go over the entire program, the entire day for us, briefly for the Meadows and more in-depth for later on in the evening. Yo, Mr. Race Good finished second. Gonna make a few little changes with him. He is entered for Wednesday. At the Meadows, nominators of 10,000. Obviously, he can do in those classes. You saw how salty the nominators of 7 was. There was 2, if not 3 horses dropping out of the open into the nominators of 7. So all those middle classes are watered down opens anyway. So a little salty crew yesterday. I don't think it'd be much different. You don't think it'd be much different for Wednesday if he happens to get in. The surprise of the entire day for me, not necessarily that he won, just by the way he did it and how much he's maturing, is Ready for Landing. For him to, as I said to you, I'm getting to know him as he changes. I'm getting to change the way I approach driving him also. If you let him trot off the car and then make your decision with him, which is continue on near the front end or back him up a little bit, he's fine. Last week I tried to keep him he wasn't getting away from the car well, and I tried to back him into a hole, and he was getting very agitated and didn't race that well. Yesterday, worked much more to our favor. Let him float off the car. We let him float off the car, and then I don't know if these guys are here to change this or what they're doing. Am I all right here? Am I okay here?
No, we're probably going to have to move a couple of these dumpsters. So.
I'm leaving in the next 15 minutes. Are you changing them now?
This one's going to be changed in about 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which one.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem. So, I just thought the horse raced smart, sat, didn't get agitated as the pace was slowing coming to the half, moved him over, filed him second over, and at no point from when I moved him to the winner's circle did I think he wasn't going to win. He just felt confident, felt smart, and I like to see that from that horse. Now, obviously, the same problem we run into all these horses that are moving their way up the classes. Are they going to stick around full time? I would much rather trade in a horse that's going to struggle in the numbers of 10 or those open classes for a horse that's going to race the numbers of 1, 2, or 3. That's just me trying to keep us buoyant, trying to keep us moving forward and in the best position we can to attack. Unless we have open trotters, everything's on the table, right? If we have horses that can dominate classes, they're fine, right? If we have horses that are struggling a little bit, we'll work to help prop them up, find them a different location if we have to. If we have horses that are in jeopardy of getting out of classes and into places where they may find it difficult, those are the horses we're going to reevaluate every week almost as we move forward. And Ready for Landing, Pickpocket, all those horses are in that grouping. But thoroughly impressed with the way he raced yesterday. Spitfire Overseas raced good. My only knock, I guess, on the whole day with him, as I had said to Stacy, was I thought he was a little funny right front going on the track and right front turning to the gate. But after talking to Stacy, it's more likely just the shoeing this week. She'll know more as she moves forward with Spitfire Overseas, and you're going to see him get better and better and better and better every week. Somebody said, just doesn't seem like the old Spitfire. Well, the old Spitfire you're referring to was savagely good for about 15 starts. He struggled with little soundness issues, which yesterday that right front I'm talking about was not an issue like that. And I can tell you why. He wasn't on the right line, and he wasn't powered down in the turns. If you're off right front, you are going to grab that right line and run in hard. You aren't going to have the same power. You're going to see the horses trying their best to set themselves up for the turns, and none of that happened with Spitfire yesterday. I think it was just a matter of, as Stacy said, she's probably right, maybe just something bothering him with that right shoe, this week. Now, furthermore to what I was saying about Spitfire Overseas, you guys worried that he's not the same horse. He's not, but he's going to get there. It's vitally important you understand we didn't put him away sore or lame in any way. There was no necessity to put him away. Sure, he had his aches and pains, same as other racehorses, but no acute injuries. He didn't have a line anywhere. He didn't have any tears or anything soft tissue damage. There was none of that. I just think that the horse is maybe a little bit overweight, working himself back into shape, and he will. He did race good yesterday. Felt like he wanted to leave safely, which is the first time I've ever seen him do that. I just didn't want to push him over the limit and have him make a break and say, geez, I shouldn't have done that. Now we got to qualify. So I just let him drop over into the 4-hole. Now I purposely kind of inched over towards the 4-hole. I was hoping Aaron would let me in. If he didn't, then I was going to have to make my way to the front. But Aaron, knowing that our horse was probably one of the ones to follow, it made all the sense in the world to drop me in front of him. So Spitfire, I thought, raced good. I said Ready for Landing was the most surprising victory, but not the most impressive victory. The most impressive victory was Save America. The Open went in 51 and a piece. Now, it was later in the card, and that will play a role. I'll tell you in a minute. But Save America, 50-3 in a dominant performance. The horse just looked awesome. He is very, very good right now. Tenacious Hanover's Break, I said, I explained that very carefully, and the more I look at it, I watched that replay again last night once, and the more I see it, the more I'm certain that this was absolutely me just backing him into a hole, and the horse just grabbed that right corner, the inside corner of that shoe, just enough to interrupt his gait, and he made a quick little break and came right up pacing. So I think we know where it is. We need to be not backpedaling, or at least dragging him back in the turn. Moreover, allowing him to advance, and allowing him to put his feet down where they're supposed to be. You have to understand, with a horse like him, the difference between grabbing that shoe and pacing cleanly is that much sometimes. That may sound silly to you, but it absolutely is the truth. Patrick the Piranha. Now, if you watched the card yesterday at Dayton, you can see how bad the track was. Stacy called me 40 minutes before Greatest Endings race and said, Brett had called, had some concerns about the track, and, with the 8-hole on this track, I knew what she was getting at. I said, Stacy, I'll stop you right there. If you want to scratch the horse, scratch the horse. I don't want to hurt him. And, with that post on that track, if you feel that you should scratch him, go ahead. Now, they didn't. They did not, but nevertheless, the track was deteriorating. Patrick the Piranha races with flip-flops on and full swedges up front. Not a lot to grab a hold of the track, and that track, I guess, right now is notoriously deep. Now, Patrick has always raced with those shoes on. In fact, I had somebody say, yeah, he's not going to get a hold of that track with flip-flops. I said, just pump your brakes. Patrick the Piranha went in 48-4 or 48-3 with flip-flops on. So before you say he can't get, he absolutely can. But when you start adding on mud and snow and sleet and rain, then yeah, I could see him struggling a little bit. Then the difference between getting hold of the track and being competitive and struggling and losing interest in the race would be exactly what you saw transpire over the last 3/8 of the mile last night. Scoped him, there was no blood, there was no mucus. For sure, it was all the track. If the weather looks the same for next week, then yes, we will pull those flip-flops off and race him accordingly. But I'm not going to make any knee-jerk reactions because Patrick the Piranha raced flat last night. Rock Shining Star, same type of thing, although he does not have flip-flops on. He did lose a shoe last night. And did it cost him in the mile? 100% it did. For sure it did. He just looked flat. Here's a horse that got everything his own way, and when push came to shove down the backstretch, you could see him start to wilt. And that hasn't been his MO for us since we bought him. I have to believe also that this is simply the last 2 horses of the night, just the track. And when it comes to Greatest Ending, getting away 8th, fanning out 8 wide, coming out of the turn. But just, here's a horse with bar shoes on. You're not going to get through that stuff. And somebody might say, well, when you see that weather coming, maybe change your shoes. Hold on. It was supposed to pour rain all day here today, and everybody's jogging right now. I hope the same thing happens at the Meadows, but I don't see it happening at the Meadows. So, again, we're not going to fall into that, well, this is what we should have done last night. Nothing that took place last night could have been mitigated before last night. I'm not changing the shoes on our horses because the track might be. What you're saying is, hey, Anthony, when everybody left yesterday at 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, we should have been rushing around changing shoes. Well, it's a little silly. It's not going to happen. So we'll see what the weather looks like and the track looks like for next week. But I would suggest, and I'm quite confident in saying it, Patrick the Piranha, Rock Shining Star, and Greatest Ending were all victims of a track that was deteriorating. And of course, it's not lost on me that everybody had to race on it. We have a free-legged horse with bar shoes. We have a horse that lost a shoe in the first turn, and we had a horse with flip-flops on. I think I'm pretty confident in saying I know what happened last night with those 3. And then Admiralty, I thought raced admirably. I thought he raced okay. I don't think he's a killer. I think he's a decent horse, but I would like to see him get a few weeks of racing in a row. And if it turns out that he's going to do in a maiden and he gets out of that maiden and he struggles, fine. He can come to Pennsylvania also. My goal right now is to try and find some higher caliber horses to race at Mohawk. We have some horses at home training right now, in Ontario training right now, that will do very easily in the non-winners of 1, 2, or 3. What happens after that? Well, I don't know. I'm not sure what'll happen after that. We'll all have to find out together. So that was yesterday in a nutshell. Today, marching forth, probably the same. I'm going to go get away near the front with this guy, let him stalk, and this is his 2nd week on Lasix, so I do expect him to be good, but the track is going to be messy. Messy track today. La Dorienne, same type of thing. Insider trading, who knows? Post 8, horrible track. I had no idea. 3-point blue chip. Again, I think he's got the 8-hole, doesn't he? 8-hole, 8-1. But Tyler did stick with him, so I appreciate that. So good luck with him. Brace for landing, right line hard last week. We're going to take all that stuff off. Just put a roller burr, sharp roller burr on the inside of him today and see how he races. And then, of course, Drebin. A day of bad posts, eh? Drebin from post 10, 10 to 1. Drebin with the 10 hole. 3-point blue chip with the 8 hole. Insider trading with the 8 hole. Now, we do have some power in the middle of the gate. Brace drew okay. Marching 4th drew okay. What did La Dorienne draw? 2. So 3 drew good, 3 drew poor. Good luck to everybody. Now, Allie's got great races tomorrow. 7 to 1 racing for $95,000. This is the last start of the year, I'm told. I thought he had 2 starts left. Jim said, no, this is the last start of the year. Tech Song Soprano at the Meadowlands picked to win. So good luck to Scotty and Megan. What a Lady, What a Night has a series after this. Now, obviously, I've had some people message me and say, what are we doing with these horses? I don't know. I'm of 2 frames of mind when it comes to the Illinois horses. Allie's got great, I could see, maturing and being a decent non-winners a 2, non-winners a 3 condition claimer horse. I could see him doing that. But do we want to keep them over the winter, into the spring, race them in the overnights, and then try to have them ready to race in Du Quoin, in the Illinois State Fair, Springfield, whatever, throughout the summer, when we know their stakes, their true stakes at Hawthorne don't start till November, October? Then I have the other frame of mind just says, just put them on gate and get rid of them. Doesn't matter what you get for them. By the time you put the bills in and try and race them in overnights, just move them. I'm torn. So I am going to look to see, we'll see. It's almost like a coin flip in my mind. I can make a very good argument for both trains of thought. We'll see which way we land on. And then obviously Sunday night, I'm Fancy Like This. Might be our last start with I'm Fancy Like This. Is a good class for her. She's 3 to 1 morning line. $25,500 is the claiming price. That's a fair price for this filly. We may lose her. Now, the only thing saving her right this second is that in 5 weeks, she loses 25% of her allowance. I don't know if that's enough. I don't know. If I'm out there looking for a filly, this might be the one I grab. So we'll see how I'm Fancy Like does. 1 and 2 is she claimed, and then Casanova Hall trained great here the other day. I expect him to do well again. And then on Monday we got the Gas Man, 3 to 1, all gas, no brakes. James is back on him. That is good to see. So that's what's going on right now. A lot of people asking about. I had a great email from somebody yesterday. Said it was oddly enough another gentleman named Anthony. Had said to me, what about offering a rebate rather than just giving the shares away of your horses, to say, hey, have a share, you buy 5 shares, you get a free share of I'm Fancy Like, or if she's still here, or Drebin, or Patrick the Piranha, or whoever. Why don't you just say, we'll give you a rebate on, we'll give you the same rebate on your bills, a credit. I never thought of that. I just assumed that there'd be a portion of you out there that said, well, I'll take my share of I'm Fancy Like, put it up for sale for $200 Canadian, and then just pocket that $200. That's what I thought a lot of people would do. I guess we can cut out the middleman and simply do that ourselves, I guess. I don't have a problem with that. I'd have to run that by John and everybody else. The way I see this sale this week going is, quite frankly, I'm going to give you the names of the horses this weekend. Because if I'm Fancy Like's claimed, it's a moot point, right? There's no point in offering up shares I'm Fancy Like next week. The horses I had envisioned in my mind were I'm Fancy Like, potentially Drebin, Patrick the Piranha, Yo Mister, any number of those horses. And we have a whole, and keep in mind, these have to be shares that John and I have. So I don't have all of those shares, right? I don't have. Marching 4th was another horse that we had talked about potentially putting in there. I suppose we could put a couple of shares of Pickpocket on there, but quite frankly, I don't know if Pickpocket's going to be with us, right? If he goes out and wins his 9th start next week, he might end up on preferred. It's just the way it is. And I have a ton of people saying, this horse done good. Why wouldn't you just stick it out with this horse? Because you guys, you're not. I keep beating this drum, but I need everybody to understand why we do things the way we do them and how we do them. And it started from the start of this video when I told you I would much rather have the non-winners of 1 up to 7. Those classes, we pretty much know who's in there, how much you have to go, what type of horse you have to be competitive. You start venturing into those open, can you imagine now? Pickpocket fit the non-winners at 10,000. That's the class that Spitfire Overseas won yesterday. You may say, well, Pickpocket won in 54 and 2, and the other horse won in 55. Spitfire Overseas would eviscerate pickpocket right now. That's just the way it is. Nice horse. Two very, very different animals right now. One's bigger, stronger, and older. The other one's on his way up, and speed can only carry you for so long. Now, if Spitfire gets away in the front, where he's not super comfortable, cuts out the mile, and a pickpocket sits behind him, yes, once in a while you're going to see him jump up and beat him. But I would rather have the battle-tested open trotter than hang on to the horse that might be, could be, should be. And that's where we're at. I'm trying to keep us on an even keel moving forward. And I think you guys understand that, right? We know what butters are bred. Now there's a 1 up to 7 here. Now there's a 8, maybe even into 10 at the Meadows. The same in Dayton. And then what? Then you have to show me something. And the horses that can't, we'll likely move on. The horses that can, we'll keep, and we'll rinse and repeat, right? Because I think most of you have figured out by now, it isn't that we're racing horses. We're also racing classes, right? Because they're not filling regularly. That's a problem also. So we're always trying to traverse this very fluid and quick moving river with rocks in it, it seems, and we're doing the best we can. So with that, I hope you understand what we're doing, where we're coming from. I hope you see what is going on. I hope you are expecting and excited about this sale coming up this week. I am. It'll give everybody an opportunity to finally see our homebreds and get a piece of our homebreds. They're going very, very nicely. We're trying to get a video for you. I thought, again, Mother Nature. I thought Saturday, Friday, any one of those would be fine. For sure Saturday. Pouring rain Saturday. Monday, chance of rain in the afternoon. It looks like midweek. Wednesday, we will be able to get some videos for you guys. So with that, I am going to let you go at 22 minutes. I hope you all are enjoying your Friday morning. I am now. And I guarantee you, Amy is in just a moment. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Good luck to all my partners today, tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday. Talk soon.